right, well, greetings, everyone. What I wanted to do with this session is talk about student workday. So a little bit of history here. So workday is a enterprise resource planning system. What that means, it's one of a family of vendors. I was going to say SAP is a name in this area. Uh, PeopleSoft is a name in this area. Banner is a name in this area. Workday Student is essentially a cloud-based system that companies will contract with because they need to run their organization's operations, things like billing, things like HR, things like supply chain management, things like customer management. And rather than having to build all that software for themselves, they have decided to go with a vendor who can provide solutions in this area. So many companies, for example, are using Workday, and what happens is every corporation is able to get Workday, and what they're getting is, if you will, their copy or their version of Workday. Very common now that, years ago, people would actually purchase a copy of the software that they would download to their servers. You can still do that, but many organizations, so that they can get automatic updates, and part of their licensing includes support, it's getting much more popular that you would be able to access Workday, via the web, and then your organization has, a Workday account. You have access to your version of the software. You have access to all the ways you have customized the software. And when I say customized, you're really not building any of your own code, but you are using the organization's, and then here, I'll just turn off our webcam to conserve some bandwidth. What you're doing is many of these packages come with a whole host of parameters and ways that you can customize the menus, the workflows, and how Workday works for you. And then, of course, it's the data. Organizations provide their data, and then, part of what, Workday does is make sure that, your data is, safely housed and backed up on their servers. And in fact, there's another layer of outsourcing. Workday actually does not have, I believe, its own servers. I believe it runs on the AWS. So this is what we're seeing is, UALR is getting their Workday subscription, and in fact, Workday itself is running on AWS. Now, a little bit of the history here. This project actually started a number of years ago when the University of Arkansas system president said, I really want all of our UA system schools, and there's about 30 institutions, including UAMS, UA Fayetteville, UAPB, the two-year schools. Any school with the University of Arkansas in their name is part of the system of University of Arkansas schools. And the president said, look, I really want us behaving more as a system. I would like us, for example, to all be on the same operational software. I would like us to for example, be moving towards a common course numbering to make it easy to take courses within the UA system and to transfer courses within the UA system. I think down the road, they'd like to see us with more common business and operating practices. And I think the future may someday be that, even our degrees may, instead of just saying from the University of Arkansas in Little Rock, may simply be from the UA system, where you can take any number of different courses, for your degree from any of the schools that are offering that course. So it's meant to really encourage the University of Arkansas system to behave more like a system. So about 3 years ago, we started off with what we call the administrative side of Workday, which is getting things like our human resource function, our finances, our accounting, our procurement onto, if you will, the business end of Workday. And now what we're doing is, starting this fall 2025, students will be, instead of going to BOSS to do their academic activities, like registering for classes, they are going to be using Workday. So let me just start off. And the first thing it's really important to do is to make sure that, do you have access to Workday? So it's excellent. We've got 20 people in the classroom. And let me see if I can just click on this. Okay. Okay. And let me just check off. I'd like everybody open up a tab, a new tab on your computer. And you might say, oh, what document are you looking at, Dr. Pierce? Well, just go right to week 9. And let me just see here. Let me just close this for a second. Yeah, just go down to week 9, working with social media. And it's right here between the assignments and the class materials. Click on Workday Student is here. That should be visible to you. And you'll start off with this memo and click on workday.ualr.edu. See if you can open up that in a web browser. Now, I've been in and out of Workday all day, but the first thing you may encounter is that you've got to supply your UALR email and password. And you may also, if this is your first time accessing Workday, it may ask you to authenticate using the app or have it text you a passcode. And so what you want to see is if you can get to this screen right here. So let me take a moment, and I want everybody to give that a try. Okay, so we're going to take a few minutes and let me know if you have any issues. Okay. So while folks are giving that a try, and by the way, if you do have issues, not to worry. What you can do is let me know what that issue is, and that'll give me an idea as to where you need to go to get that issue resolved. Okay. Let me just go. Okay, and let me just get to the right screen here. Okay, there we go. Now, let me just talk about some of the things that you're going to be noticing. So while BOSS will be accessible for student services for summer 2025, meaning if you're going to be taking classes this summer, you'll be using BOSS as usual. In order to register for fall 2025 classes, you're going to have to be set up in Workday. Now, a couple things that we're working on. Right now, we're in a transition period where we're trying to get all the data that is currently on your transcripts, all of your transfer courses, all of your petitions that are in degree works, all of your milestones. So if you've completed your master's project, or you've completed your master's thesis, or you have, if you're a PhD student, you've completed your city training, or you've completed your oral proposal, or you've completed your candidacy exam. We're in the period where we're trying to get all of that information from the old system into Workday. So one of the things that you may encounter is, for example, you may not see the spring 2025 courses that you're currently enrolled in, meaning you can see them in BOSS, but you can't see them in Workday. Another thing is your grade point average may not be accurate because registrations from previous academic periods are still being loaded. So, so keep in mind, don't worry, we're going to be keeping access to BOSS for a while longer, just to make sure that all the students in the pipeline, that we get all those data discrepancies worked out. Also, bills and payments for tuition and fees are still being loaded, and those will probably not be reflected in Workday until this summer. So you're going to continue to utilize BOSS. Now, one thing that is not going away is Blackboard will not be replaced by Workday. You're going to continue to use Blackboard for course instruction. But one thing you will notice if you're here in fall 2025, you'll notice that all of your classes in fall 2025 will be using the same interface that you see in data science and technology. So the old version of Blackboard will no longer be available, and all instructors will be using the new version of Blackboard. We've also gotten a heads up that the current version of Blackboard Collaborate, that's what we're using right now to extend the class virtually. Word is out that we'll be switching to a different collaboration tool, something that's more Zoom-like. And I think that will be a good improvement, because I think Blackboard Collaborate, the one we're currently using, is actually a couple years old. And I think there are virtual meeting platforms that are now more up to date. Okay. Now, a couple places where you can get some help. And as I mentioned, I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to log in. If you are having problems with authenticating, getting access to Workday Student, you can get help from UALR IT Services. That's a good place to start. And also, we're starting to put together web materials for students in terms of information on how to use the new system And also because this is a change that's not only taking place at UALR, but it's also taking place at UA Fayetteville. It's taking place at UAPB. It's taking place at UAPTC, across the UA system. There's also more training materials out on Project One. And Project One is the vendor that the system has engaged to help the UA system migrate from all the systems they were using to Workday. So let me just pause for a moment and double check. Has anyone had any trouble getting into Workday? Okay. And you might say, so why are we so anxious about students getting into Workday early? And this is because this is a brand new system. You'll notice we're still adding data as we go. We're still testing as we go. And so right now we're at the stage where we really need to have people start using the system so we can see what the bugs are, so we can get things fixed, so everybody's in good shape for the fall. The other thing to keep in mind is because this is a brand new system, it's not only new to you, but it's going to be new to your faculty. It's going to be new to your advisors. It's going to be, it's new to IT services. It's new to everybody. It's new to records. It's new to financial aid. It's new to everybody on campus. So consequently, you want to be one of the early adopters. You want to make sure that you start early, making sure that you can get through Student Workday. And in particular, you want to make sure that you completed the onboarding tasks and that you have been able to talk to an advisor to get your classes for the fall semester, and that you've gotten advised and any prereq flags lifted so that you can get registered for classes. And that's going to be very important. You want to make sure that you get registered. And if there are any issues, like we need more seats here, or there's an issue with students signing up for a class over there, we want to make sure we get those all worked out. Because if we can get all of our current students who are going to be continuing on, for the fall 2025 semesters, if we can get you situated, then that means come August, we can just focus on the new incoming students. So the thing is, if everybody waits to the last minute to register, you may find that you are waiting in a very, 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 very long line to get help. So that is why you want to start now to be at the front of the line. Now, let's just take a look a little bit at the Workday interface here, because it's going to be, what you're seeing is the same interface that the staff uses when they use Workday for payroll. You're seeing the same interface that employees use when they want to look up their payroll history. So what you're really seeing is let me put it this way, there is one interface to Workday, and it's the same interface for everybody. So it's not like if you're a student, you're seeing something different than your faculty. Now, some of the things that can be different is Workday, like many systems, is role-based. So basically, what you're able to see and do in Workday depends on your role. So faculty may see certain tasks or certain learning instructions or have access to certain functionality that a student would not. So the first functionality is right now, see, I'm all caught up on my tasks. But as a student, there should be some tasks there for you to do in order to get onboarded. Okay. And let me see if I can find, okay. Okay. They have a bunch of things called QRGs, quick reference guides. But let me see. They are quick. Oh, let me just see. Maybe I can. Oh. Okay. So this is good. So this is something that, uh, as you say, this is coming from another Workday school. But this is what you should see when you go into your UALR Workday. You should see a list of tasks awaiting your actions. And these are the tasks that, these are a series of questionnaires or information that you're going to need to fill out. Okay, and so here's one, for example, one of the tasks is, is providing your emergency contact, and you must enter a phone number for that person. Now, I will say this, you can do a task, and typically you often can save a task until you are ready to submit. And, this had some of the closed captioning, but let me just point out some of the things. One of the things that they were talking about is there is going to be a little icon up here that if you click on it, wait a second, oh, I'm clicking, let me go up to the top here. Oh, there we go. Here's the right, here's the right icon. And notice if you click on it, uh, the things that you want to take a look at is, let me just see. I think it's view profile. Okay. Now this is, I'm showing you what I see as an employee. Tell you what, let me go and let me look up one of my students here. show you what her profile looks like. Now, there's a couple of things that you're going to want to make note of. Let me see if I make this nice and big so folks can see. Okay. One of the things that you're going to notice is when you're in Student Workday, you're not going to see your T number. Workday doesn't use T numbers. What there is your Workday student ID. So one of the things that when you go to your profile, you're going to want to locate your student ID because, I'll go back a page. Let me show you what happens. Now, Cornelia has a very unique name, but let me just do okay. So notice here, let's say you have a common name. I want to show you something. Do you see what's happening here? If you have a common name, we really need to have your Workday student ID. So, when you're contacting a faculty or an advisor for assistance, if you say, well, here's my T number, they'll say, thank you very much. I mean, that helps me to look you up in BOSS, but I need to know what your Student Workday number is, because that will really help us to identify which is you. Okay, so one of the things you're going to want to do is go into Student Workday and write down your student ID number. And what you'll want to do is maybe even take your ULR ID and maybe just, I was going to say on a piece of paper, just, tape it to the back of your student ID so that you have both your T number and your Student Workday number. And I think for students who are going to be here next year, again, I think there's going to be a transition period where you're going to need your T number for some things, and for other things, you'll need your Workday ID number. And there'll be a period where you're going to need to have both IDs. Now, eventually, as we retire the systems that use T numbers, I think we'll eventually get to a place where it's just a Workday ID. But until that happens, you're going to want to know both ID numbers. There is a action button, and that has a number of things that you can look through. Everything from actions like requesting an institutional withdrawal. Maybe you want to evaluate your academic process. Again, some of these you may say, well, I don't see those actions at all. Well, that gives you an idea of what I as a department chair can see. I was going to say you probably have a personal data. And again, you can check your residency. I'm not sure if they have student appointments turned on. And again, that is the one thing that we're kind of seeing is keep in mind, the reason you're going to want to go into Workday and explore is, again, it goes back to that role-based system. There may be things that you're seeing on my screen, and you say, well, I don't have those on my screen. Well, that's because we have different roles. But let me just mention, the academics tab. Okay. All right. Now, again, you may be able to see this information, but you may not have the buttons. But this is where you can actually see what are your programs of study. You can see if you've had any earned credentials. Notice in this case, we are able to see the spring courses for Crenicia. This is where your advisor can actually create you an academic plan, a list of courses that you should be looking for. This is replacing the transcript, the unofficial transcript, where you can actually look through all your previous semesters to see what classes you've taken. Don't have competencies. Oh, David, very good. Now, let me just mention that academic progress is what's going to replace degree works. So if you're curious to see, you know, I'm in the, well, here's a good one. Here we go. You know, you might say, well, I'm in the Master's of Science degree. Have I completed information visualization? Have I completed my database? Have I done my data protection? Have I done my data science? Where am I? Have I completed my 5 electives? Have I, you know, completed my graduate projects? So these are all things that you can double check on. And I will say some of the things like accomplishments, you know, they're still working on adding. But David, so this is very good. I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can. 1 second here. Let me stop sharing, and let me see if I can do this. David, let me see. Are you able to share your, let me just see this something. Let me go ahead and let me make you a presenter. Okay. So David, I made you a presenter, and that means that you can now should have a little purple collaboration panel in the lower right screen. And if you open up that panel, you should be able to use the bottom middle icon that for share content so that you can share your application screen. And because in order to assist you, you got to provide like a screenshot. What is it actually that you're seeing? Or if you want to take a screenshot and email me, then that would be helpful. We can do it that way. So if you don't want to share your screen, if you want to just take a screenshot and email, I'll put that in the chat.
Yeah, it allows me share, but all I see is share camera, share files. Oh, let me send you an email then. I'll do that right away.
Yeah. And I will And so, yeah, anyone else getting any error messages, you're welcome to take a screenshot and let's take a look to see. Because this is good. But one of the nice things about Workday is I was going to say is that there's a whole lot you can now do in one place, you know, such as seeing your transcripts. This is a big one. You know, people would say, well, what do I have left to take for my degree plan? Well, you know, you'll be able to go in and check your academic progress and see, oh, wait a second, you know, I have a bunch of things that, you know, haven't been satisfied. But some of the things you can do is you'll be able to edit your legal name, your preferred name. What else? You'll be able to add personal information. You'll be able to, you know, what you can do is, let me this way, you'll either be able to change it or you'll be able to see what information is, let me this way, you're either going to be able to change stuff or at least view what's on file. But contact is important. But one of the things is you'll be able to look at your student financials. Oh, and action items and holds. This is a big one. A lot of students would say, I have a hold. I don't know what that hold is. Can you see what my holds are? You're going to be able to see your holds. And so this is the biggie. The one is the student onboarding hold. When you first log into Workday, you're going to have maybe on average about 6 or 7 tasks, information that it needs you to fill out. We can't get to the advising hold process until you get through student onboarding. So again, you want to start this early, and here, this is great. David, I'm going to see what email you got for me, and let's see what you got. Okay. Well, this is, oh, and let me try this. So let me try, okay. Ooh. Well, here, let me try this. Let's see what we got here. I'm just seeing if you're in. Okay. Let me just see if this is you, David. Okay. Yeah. So, David, I think this is you. So the good news is you are in the system, but, oh, in here, let me just move things around. Okay. Let me just see if anyone else is getting this message. So, let me just try this again. So, So let me just go this way. Oh, this is interesting. So let me just do, let me back out one. I know. Let me do it like this. Let me open up a new tab. Let me go in as incognito. Okay. So, oh, wait a second. Let me do it like this. Okay. 1 second here. Let me go back for a second. So, so let me double check. This was the error message that David is getting. And so what I went to do is, let me see if I can replicate that error. Okay, so I went into incognito, because as they say, okay, and now let me just, and David, let me know if you got this far. Okay, and let me just see if I can authenticate in. Let me just see if this will, it may again take me straight through. I may have to kind of log in, log out to try to get it to, let's see if this works. Okay. Okay, so that's again taking me in. Let me just see. Let me try one more thing. Okay, I'm just gonna, let me see if I sign out. Let me try one more thing. Let me try, okay, let me just see if I can get into, let me just see. There we go. Let's try this. David, did you go to this screen first?
Oh, no, I didn't. It took me straight to the login page, and then I did put
Okay.
in my details, got the authentication code, put it in, but as soon as I put in the authentication code, I got that feedback.
Okay. Let me try one thing. I'm going to just I'm going to just paste this into the chat. If you put in myapplications.microsoft.com, it takes you to this page. And one thing I'm just curious is we should be signed into UA Little Rock. I'm wondering if for some reason it has another organization for you. Uh, but if you are signed in with UA Little Rock and you're going to Workday and it is not taking you to if it's getting you that error message, then I'll tell you what we need to do is, yeah, very good. And here's what I'm going to do. Let me just forward this to, let me just see, let me just do CSTEM. Here's what you would do is, let's do let's just do right to IT services. And I'll just say, dear IT services, David Samuel is a graduate student in the MSIS program. He is trying to log into workday.ulr.edu, and he is getting this error message. And I'm going to put you on that email. See message. What does David need to do in order to access a student Workday? His Workday student ID. And let me put in this is where we may just have to put in the student Workday information. Okay. And I'm going to also copy another person, is Ann Childers. So this is important. Here at the college, Dr. Ann Childers, who's the assistant dean, she has been tasked with being the, I was going to say, sort of leading she's been kind of charged with leading the I was going to say leading the charge. So okay, let me send it, David. I think since you haven't, you're as you say, you're having trouble getting into Workday, I think, and for any other student who gets into that problem, I think your first line of defense is to contact IT services help and just introduce yourself and show the screenshot of what message you're getting and provide them with your, let me put this way, if you don't have your Workday ID, obviously, because you can't get into Workday, provide your T number. And let's see if we can find out. Okay. good. So David, thank you very much. Let's see if we can get help from IT services. Anyone else getting error messages? So you can
Yes,
see,
Professor, I used to have these same error messages, but when I contacted ID services, I realized that they created two email addresses for me. So they were using the new email address that they created for me to for the work day. So they had to rectify it by putting in the old email address. So for David, I'm sure they created a new email address for him also.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
David, did you have a change in your email address?
No, David will not have that change. It's the workday account. I mean, when I found out they created new email address for me, and I told them I don't have access to that new email address, so they need to take that one off and put in the near the old email address.
And David, just out of curiosity, uh, you may want to double check to see, but again, that's a good thing to check with IT services. What is your correct, what is the email address that should be in the Workday system? Because that could happen. Maybe you had an old email, but now you're using the new email. Everything's going to the new email, but Workday still has the old email. That would be something, yeah, you would definitely want IT services to correct, because you want to make sure that you're logging in with the email that all your messages are going to. Yeah, because you don't want to have a situation where, yeah, that discrepancy where Workday is using a different email for you than the email that you have currently been assigned. Okay. So one of the things you definitely want to take a look at is, you know, one, you want to do your student onboarding to get that taken care of. But you also want to, again, you're going to want to check out your profile. Now, let me also say that you're going to want to also get to know uh, not only your profile, but what's on the home page. And in particular, one of the things is, as I say, I've got team highlights and important dates and announcements. But in particular, you are going to want to check out your apps, okay? So notice I've got suggestions. But let me just show you something. Workday does a lot of its functionalities through these apps. And they have all kinds of apps. I mean, let me just say, if I go to add an app, let me just see if I can see. I should be able, let me just do view all apps. Okay, is that right? Oh, it's under edit. Huh. Okay. Okay. Now, let me put it this way. There are a ton of different apps here. There are 32, at least in my screen, there are 32 apps. You might not have as many. But a max of 22 apps can display in your menu at once. So I think this advising and registration, you should check to see if you have this app. And let me just show you with advising and registration. One of the things under is that you should have under, hopefully you have this under student registration, is if you go to your advising and registration app, and again, let me know if you don't have this app, because maybe there is another app that you should be looking at. But one of the questions you'll have is what's on the fall 2025 schedule? That's a good question. So there is something called Find Course Sections. And here's the other thing. Even if you, let me just see. The other ways you can get stuff in Workday is by searching on it. So if you know the name of the report or the name of that task, you can search on it. So even if you don't have advising and registration, if you click on Find Course Sections, all of a sudden this guy shows up. And as I say, one of the things you're going to find with Workday, since it's for the entire UA system, sometimes the drop downs aren't that useful because there's so many other things to choose from. So you can actually kind of speed things up. And if you wanted to just type in, look, I know I'm with UALR, that's probably sometimes faster than the drop down. The same thing if you type in fall, and let me just show you this, because you might say, oh yeah, let me search on the on the academic calendar. Okay, check this out. It starts with academic years going back to 1955. So you definitely don't want to have to search through that. So what you want to do is just put in fall 2025. Okay. And again, there's still a lot of stuff there, but look for UALR fall, the one that starts August 20th and goes through December 11th. That's important, but there is stuff, first 9 weeks, first 7 weeks, but this is the main one. And you're going to be looking for the graduate classes. Okay. And you can leave the campus locations. Well, we can see what's there. Yeah. You can ignore the campus locations. So then you press OK. All right. And now what you can do is you can say, oh, I'm interested, so you can expand subjects. You can say, well, I'm interested in information science classes. I'm interested in information quality classes. We can start with those. Okay. You can say, I want stuff that is open sections. Oh, maybe you want the ones that are in person. Okay, but this is the way that you can kind of go through, and maybe you're looking for classes that are meeting Tuesday, Thursday. Oh, wait, let's just see, meeting days. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe you want to do hybrid. Oh, yeah, here we go. Maybe you're looking for the ones that have a meeting day. You see, it's a little slow. That's all right. Okay. So this is kind of what replaces the class schedule, but this is where you can play around to say, hey, what kind of class am I looking at? And you can see that, we're going to have data mining. Now, you'll look at that number and you'll say, wait a second, data data mining was 5325. How come I'm seeing 52503? You're seeing 52503 because that's the new course numbering system. So, but we'll have database security, information visualization, social computing, and notice here we will have, if you're international, you're looking for the 01 sections and the hybrid sections. And you're allowed to take one online like a 9S1, okay? But hybrids count as face-to-face, 01s count as face-to-face. But this is where, notice you can see the details. Here's the room number, here's the date, here's the time, here's the instructor. So that'll be very good. And, I should mention another good thing to know. Is you're going to want to use, for fall 2025, you're going to want to use the academic year 2026. Sounds kind of weird, but that's academic year 2026 is fall 2025, spring 2026, and summer 2026. So let me just get some information here. So this is kind of important. You'll be able to start registering, if you're a graduate student, starting March 31st. And then regular registration will start April 4th and go through August 19th. And here's the thing. If you are not fully registered by August 19th, well, let me put it this way. You got to be registered at least for something by August 19th. But keep in mind, if you are registering for the first time starting on August 20th, they're going to tack on a $100 late fee. And notice that this is the other thing, sometimes students wait until they think, August 26th means I have all the way till midnight to register for something. Notice it's really by 5 p.m. So keep in mind, this is why that, we really want to get everybody registered in April. Or, maybe, we go into finals week and people get busy. But, we really, before you leave campus, we really want to make sure that you have gotten registered. And let's just see. So we looked at updating your personal information. What are some other good things here? We've got the student onboarding. We've got, it turns out that you can register from the Find Course section. Let's just take a look at that, okay? All right. Couple of things, this academic hubs, that is not the academic hubs. What you want to do is you want to actually go to this page, Find Course Sections. And here, oh, you can click on this to get more information. And let me just see. Let's go to this QRG. They don't have a video. Okay, but let me put it this way. You go to, okay. So this is where you find course sections. Oh, in order to register, you click the title of the course section you would like to take, and then you click register. This is a little fluky thing. If necessary, sometimes you have to select graded from the grading basis drop-down list. That's something they're trying to correct. Normally, you know, what they want to do is for everybody to click register, and then it will then add the courses to your schedule. And some of the things that you can do is you can bring up your schedule and you can decide to add and drop courses during the registration period. There are a few fluky little bugs. I know when they were demonstrating this, in some cases, this thing, you know, a grading basis popped up, and you had to know to select graded. That is, you wanted a graded class. And they say they're trying to clean up that little bug. But that is essentially how you add. Now, if you run into any prereq issues, we did find out the instructions for how, for a student, we can bring up that student and we can do instructor overrides for any course that you would like to take. So I was going to say, as you're building your schedule, if you run into any prereq overrides, all you need to do is, as they say, send us the name of the course, and again, send us your, you can say, I am John Smith, here's my Workday student ID, I would like to take these 3 courses, boom, boom, and boom. And then what we can do is you can send that information to your graduate advisor. You can send it to Shane's. You can send it to me. In fact, if you want to, I would copy me on all your emails because I'm here, 12 months and I'm kind of fanatical about checking my emails. And so we can then go into Workday, and what we can do is we can issue you the tokens so that we can then just reply back to you and say, you should have tokens now for all those classes. Go ahead and finish registering. But that should get you all set. And as I say, this academic hub, that's a little bit out of date. Notice it's advising and registration. And that's where we can find your course sessions. And this is where, as an advisor, I can put in overrides for students. Okay. So that's the main thing. Any, as I say, main thing that, let's just see, any good training, and they do have some training and resources. And again, what you see will be different from what I see because we have different roles. But as I say, if you're graduating spring or graduating summer, you don't have to worry because you're going to be under boss. But if you are going to be here fall 2025, yes, we want to make sure, first make sure you can get into Workday. because as you can see, there may be log-on issues that we got to get resolved. And then once you get into Workday, you want to go through the onboarding tasks to make sure that that flag is completed. And then what you want to do is, you want to look at your academic progress to see what classes you need to take, and you want to check your class schedule. And I was going to say, this is the other thing. If you look for UALR Graduate Catalog 2025, I guess we go to academic 2026. Okay, wait a second. That is, that's the calendar. All right. Let me go back a ways. Let's just do, catalog for 2026. Yes, one of the things you want to do is you want to get the upcoming graduate catalog. And what's nice is you can go to graduate programs. And you can say, well, wait a second, I'm in the Masters of Science in Information Science. And what's kind of nice about this is you can see both the old and the new course numbers. So one thing that you may find helpful is, double check. Are there any core courses that you need to take? Do you still have electives? Are you planning to do a project, or are you planning to do are you planning to do a co-op and then a one semester project, or and then be kind of leery. The course only option is really for students who are part of the PhD in computer and information science program. So generally for information science, you either want to do 6 hours of projects, or maybe you want to do 3 hours of project and a job experience. Dr. Berliet is the advisor who can help you with that. But as I say, get to know the graduate catalog as well, because that'll give you both the old and the new numbers. And by the way, computer science is going to be changing from CPSE to CPSI under the Common Course Numbering System. So this is a good time. Take a look at the graduate catalog to start, mapping out, what courses you might like to take for the fall. And again, it's very helpful if you can just document, what you're planning to take. And as I say, spring is a good time. Dr. Berliet is around. He sends out emails because he does advising every Friday via Zoom, so that students can come in and ask their questions. But again, over the summer, we'll have folks to assist you. But again, the key thing is the earlier you can meet with someone and get your plans put together, and that you have some schedule in place, the more we can avoid the mad rush going into August. Okay, so with that, now you're pretty much caught up. that you know as much as I know about Workday. And again, we'll just be working together to help each other out so that everybody gets taken care of. But the key thing by beginning of April is we definitely want folks onboarded, and we want to hear, what are you thinking of taking for the fall? Where do you have questions about what you need to take for the fall? So we can get you a list of classes and your advising flag lifted so that you can then work on getting registered. Okay, so with that, I'll go ahead and stop the recording. And then next week, we'll continue on with data science with looking at large language models.